Right, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm sat in my recording studio with Jonathan. It's the first time he's been out of Kirkbride or Wilton in oh no, because you were away at that wedding, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
On the table we've got a REVOPOINT MIRACO. So a few months ago we made a video of, you'll have seen on the channel as Jonathan using the 3D scanner. We made a video for REVOPOINT, which is the company that make the 3D scanners, and they used that for their Kickstarter when they released this product. So they got in touch and offered to pay us for the video. I hadn't asked them for anything for it, but they offered to give us something for it because it helped them. And I said to him, well, I'd rather have a scanner, to be honest with you, and be able to make some videos, because I think it'll be good content for the channel. I want to learn it anyway, and I think it would be, if Jonathan's teaching me how to use these things, then I'll learn. I'll have it recorded down so I can watch it back and learn from it again, and it'll help the other people that are buying scanners as well, because they are quite complex things. So this is how it comes. It's in it's a normal brown cardboard box, and this is the sleeve that's in it. It is labelled a REVOPOINT, but
yeah,
apart from that, there's nothing.
It's got an image on the front, but they've probably got stickers.
It's covered in stickers, yeah. It's covered in shipping stuff. So, so there's nothing fancy about the outside, but this is what's inside. So, I've had this a few days now, and I've been wanting to get it out, and I have had a little bit of a look, but I haven't took any of these out. So, the packaging's nice, isn't it?
It is, yeah. They're always pretty nice.
Right. So I'm just going to take all of this stuff out of it.
Take it out of it.
Yeah. If it's got a plastic film on the lens on the screen, I'm taking that off as well.
I've left mine on so that it didn't get scratched. So that's a calibration board.
Yeah, and you just use that for calibrating.
That's for near mode calibration. There are some bigger panels for the Pro, which has got the bigger RAM in it, which came with bigger calibration panels. You can get them separately. I have some if you ever need any.
For anybody who doesn't know, Jonathan's actually an official tester for REVOPOINT. So they send him stuff and he plays with it and gives them feedback and tries to break it, and often works out a lot of problems. Was it this one that the little ring?
All of them, yeah.
The ring.
The
was it this
on
one
on the cameras? Yeah. They had a problem with the reflection, so I've got mine with me. So that's the colour camera, and these two LEDs were reflecting, causing an image quality problem. But they've later fixed that on these ones. It was only the prototypes.
Yeah.
This is a full production one they sent me.
Smells nice.
But I 3D printed a
Have you smelled it?
fix for it. Yeah, they always smell quite good.
It's like a
Wait until you get to the mat. That smells a lot.
So this is is this magnetic?
It's not magnetic. No, that's for the turntable, for tracking, marker tracking. So it gives you something for the thing in marker mode to track.
I'll maybe put that back in the bag actually.
Yeah, idea. Try put this back in the thing.
Yeah, because it's gonna need. It's gonna need.
You need to keep that.
What do you?
Nice.
What do you keep? Do you?
I just put it back in the box and keep all the stuff I don't use regularly in the box.
Is this the mat?
This is the mat. This has a distinctive smell to it.
So we haven't. Oh, crikey! It's like glue.
So there's a far and a near mode mat.
I thought it was pink then, but it's a reflection off the.
Ah, right, yeah. So they're bigger dots and further apart, basically.
So that's quite a big mat then.
Folds out fairly big.
Yeah, so you would lay out a piece on this.
Yeah.
Don't see you using these very often though.
No, generally I don't.
Is that because you're scanning bigger things? Like cars, that's not you're not going to get
yeah,
down,
I mean, I think I used it on them suspension arms.
So obviously with us knowing this was coming, I've been like thinking of the things that I would scan. Some of the my tattoo machine stuff, for instance, there's a prototype that I'm working on that we've actually done some scanning on, and it would it's going to help us with stuff like that. But I'm also thinking about art projects that we can use it for.
Marker dots.
Yeah, these are the sticky ones.
They're very, very sticky and very reflective.
Yeah.
Which helps with the tracking.
But you seem to go through a lot of them, like, so those are just to get you started.
If you're doing a large vehicle, I think there's about 1,000 on the Escort to scan that, which is why I haven't bothered taking them back off.
So this is the case.
Yeah, the case has got some bits and pieces in there. It's quite a nice case.
Alright, this is the turntable. So the round disc, the disc's bigger than that though, isn't it? Yeah.
It's kind of needs something made to go on the top, 3D printed or laser cut to just use as a better...
Or primitive sword.
Yeah, I mean you could use a bit of cardboard or anything.
No, that was almost a face of disgust, that. Alright, has it got a dodgy plug on it?
It will have a US style adapter in there somewhere. I think it's in the box here, the actual adapter.
I'm just going to get all this out of here.
That's just a wipe for it. There's a little zipped pocket in the front. I have my power supply and stuff in there. And then there's some little bits down the side so you can somewhere.
There's little pouches and
little pouches down the side so you can put like USB cables and that in there.
It's not that smelled. It was definitely
it's definitely the mats.
the mats where the smell's coming from. And
very strong.
Yeah. A cleany lens cleaner
lens
thing.
cleaner thing, that one.
This is a nice tripod.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's quite wide, so it holds it up.
That's metal as well, though, isn't it? So it's
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite sturdy, that. Yeah, it's alright. That's a nice little tripod. Obviously, you adjust your angle and everything on
Yeah,
it.
you can use it. Well, not so much on the MIRACO, but you can use it as a handle.
Yeah, I was going to say that would work as a handle as well, wouldn't it? Stick it up there. Shoulder strap.
Well, it's more of a wrist strap.
Alright, is I.
So you can screw it in the bottom and then put it up
handy.
your arm so it doesn't fall off. There are softer ones online that you can get. If you
Purely
don't like
just
it.
in case of dropping, it's got like one of them toggles that tighten it up around your wrist.
I don't use it because I'm always putting it down and picking it up and putting it down and picking it up. And
yeah, but it makes sense to...
If you were in an area where it was maybe going to get knocked out of your hands or something like that, you'd put it on, you know.
And so this is, it's powered, it doesn't have batteries in it?
Yeah, USB powered.
Yeah.
It's got a variable speed and a 2-direction. It only goes fairly slowly.
Yeah.
And then there's a USB cable for that in there.
Handy. Again, for like, you know, I can put a tattoo machine on there and get a rotational shot of it.
Yeah.
So
that's your practice piece.
Yeah.
Basically.
Does everybody get the same?
Everybody gets exactly the same. I've got about 7 of them now, I think.
You could do something with them. You could like
I probably could. Yeah, all different sizes.
Laser cut some like stacked wooden bases, and then like paint these gold or something or black and that, and
have them all over.
That's kind of funny though. You've got loads of them. Plug.
Yeah, it's quite a nice charger.
Right, so...
Oh, they've changed it since then.
So what have we got here then? Like, this is a funny thing.
Yeah. That's actually slightly different to mine. I don't think I brought mine with me. I didn't. Yeah.
65 watt.
Yeah, they're a good charger. See, mine's got foldy feet. Yours is a fixed. That must be a later version.
Yeah. That's like our razor plug thing, isn't it?
I think that's European standard, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have to work it. But
that isn't even the right one for UK, is it?
But this did come via Spain or somewhere.
That'll be why.
Yeah.
So you need to get one of them ones that gave me electric shock.
Yeah. Great.
Well, same as that.
But I mean, it'll still
that'll plug in. That should plug into that if you try it. That's my one. Yeah.
Ooh, crikey!
It's not very robust.
Yeah, so like I could get one of those, but to be honest with you, I've got me like stuff for charging my iPad and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it should work the same.
Yeah. I'll see. I think that'll go into the the shaver plugs. The bathroom shaver plugs. I think that'll go into that. Probably force it in.
Could probably modify.
You could 3D print an adapter.
Yeah. But yeah, mine's come with a US style with a flicky thing, which is quite nice.
Straight into there. That's not so bad. It's not too wobbly, is it?
Yeah, it's quite sturdy actually. So I've got two of them.
It'll be because it had ended up going to.
Yeah, if it's a European one, that makes sense.
And then here.
Yeah.
What's in here? It's like Christmas. I'm keeping the big one till last.
I bet you keep your favourite food till last as well, don't you?
Nah.
No.
Megan eats everything separately.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Shove it all together.
I'll happily chop it all up and like create a mix. And you've seen how she presents it, you know what I mean? So sometimes she looks absolutely mortified.
You've ruined my presentation.
Yeah. Decent length cable.
It's quite a good cable actually.
Yeah.
USB-C to USB-C. So.
Yeah.
And it'll go into the computer to transfer files as well.
Right, so it's a data cable as well.
It's easier from the bit that's cut out from it.
Well,
maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of tight. But there is a bit,
I
figured that was like a finger hole.
What that's actually for is because the button is on that side and they found that they were getting turned on in the box in transit.
Alright.
So they put a notch in to stop it getting turned on in transit.
Interesting little bit of...
Because I don't think mine did it, but some of the other testers had a flat one when it landed.
So they come charged?
Yeah, they come, well...
With a bit of charge, yeah.
60% or whatever.
Yeah.
It's enough to get it set up and test it. I keep that bag as well, just so it's got a bit of extra protection inside the case.
You put that in there in the case?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a bit OCD, isn't it?
It is probably, but it keeps the thing in reasonable condition. So I've still got it over there.
Should have fold it up. There you do as well. Well, I'm probably not going to do that.
Well, it's got a soft inner liner on the case, on the actual case.
Oh, aye. Yeah, it'll be alright. Like, and that's the ideal size for it. It's not exactly gonna.
Yeah.
It's not gonna
what
rattle about in there, is it?
If you turn
Spin
it round and keep it that way round, because when you've got stuff in there, it kind of sits there, and this bit doesn't get marked off the.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you've got stuff in there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the other way around. It's against the screen because there's obviously a screen on the back.
Yeah. It's quite heavy, isn't it?
It's reasonably hefty. Yeah, it's got quite a good
heat
sink in the back.
In a solid way.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is like when you pick it up, it's got like a really cool feel to it. it feels like a
You
camera.
don't put your fingers in front of the.
All right, so your forefingers go there.
Yeah, you need to put your fingers lower because you get fingerprints on the lens.
Yeah. All right. Need to peel this off. There isn't even a tag for it.
There isn't on yours, is there?
No, they don't want me to do it, do they?
No, just leave it.
It's got bubbles in it and everything.
It has got bubbles, yeah.
Mind you, have to squeeze it. All right, we'll leave it for now. Right, how do I turn this bad boy on?
Long press that little square button, about 2-3 seconds. The logo will come on, and it will go into like a setup type screen.
And that just lifts out of there.
Yeah, that can go right over, and it flips it automatically when it goes right over.
So you can go all the way up like that. Wow.
Yeah, so you can scan yourself.
You can scan yourself.
No, it doesn't flip that though. It will once
it's done. Yeah, once it's English.
I think we're English. Yes.
Now I've been having all sorts of problems with the internet in here, so although it's connected, it might not. There's that many networks in the building, and we've just got that fibre put in. I showed you the thing, didn't I?
Yeah.
Set time zone manually, go. So you just click, so you can go through those.
Go through that.
Standard issue that now, isn't it? With
Yeah,
stuff
it's
like
quite
this,
good because it gives you a bit of an idea of how
initial
to
insight.
do it.
Yeah.
If you've used them before, you wouldn't probably even bother. You'd just skip it. But
Yeah, this is going to be like super familiar to you, but it's good that it's got it on there as well. So it's like
I think you can go back to that as well from one of the setup menus, so you can view it again, even if you accidentally skipped it or whatever.
So it doesn't say Pro on the box, so this will be a.
It's just a standard then.
Yeah.
So it'll be 32.
Right.
Sorry, 16 gig, not 32.
Right, so that's actually scanning stuff now, isn't it?
So that's visually doing it. It goes through
Select
these
scan
steps.
settings before scanning. So that's it. That's it. Fired up, nice.
Yeah, so that's fired up, and that's where you would screw your thing in there.
Yes, it's just like a little camera, big camera.
Yeah, so it's in Neo mode there. If I put that in front of it, so you need to come back a bit more. See, you've got your depth there. So you want to be in the excellent to good.
So that green bar at the top is the depth.
Yeah, if you move close, you'll see it come too near, and then it'll change colour as well. And you start losing it on the model also.
Yeah.
There's a range thing there, but on the near mode you generally don't need to touch that. On the far mode you can extend it a little bit.
Right, just before we continue on with this bit, what have we got here?
Right, so in the middle you've got the projector. That projects an infrared pattern. Obviously it knows what that pattern should be. Is how it works out, as well as the two cameras. So the outside two cameras are the far mode infrared cameras.
Yeah. They've got a funny sort of.
They have a funny lens on them, yeah. And then there's an LED for each as well.
Yeah.
So you've got infrared, colour or white.
Yeah.
And infrared. So these are the near mode cameras and LEDs, far mode, and then the colour camera with just white light.
So there's two cameras per depth. I guess that's getting like so triangulation on the
from both sides
on the thing, and then what's that one? That's your
colour camera.
Your colour camera.
Yeah, so you get quite a good colour image as well.
And then obviously it blends the two together and then gives you a colour 3D scan. So like, yeah, and you can scan in colour as well as.
Yeah, you can select whether you want colour. I often don't use colour because I'm not doing stuff that needs it, you know.
Yeah.
So at the moment,
this guy needs a name. Have you named any of yours?
He is called something, and I can't remember. Agrippa or something like that. I think he's called Augustus. Anyway, he's some foreign dude.
So where did we get from Neo mode? What did you press there?
So Neo mode
Alright,
you
so
have a range, and then
switching to far mode,
that
so you would just
switches to
yeah,
far
so
mode. Yeah, it'll take a few seconds for it to switch over because it's got to.
and so you could still
see
scan
how
the
much further off it is.
yeah,
It
and
will
that's
still scan it.
Yeah, that's and so you would get a similar level of accuracy as well then.
No, you better accuracy on
Yeah.
the near mode.
So on the small. All right, so like down here as well, we've got this targeting thing.
Yeah, so that's a colour camera.
Yeah, but it also like you can just look at that and like at a glance you can see that you're pointing in the right direction. You know, you keep it bang in the middle sort of thing.
Yeah,
It's like a sight.
it changes slightly when you put it into near mode, I think. But anyway, it's
Why is this coming up red though?
Right, so
what's that window?
that's your depth camera window.
Yeah.
So
Should we put it back in near mode?
put it in near mode. A few moments later. Right, so see it's blue there.
Yeah.
You're a little bit far away, so just go a little bit closer. So,
It's surprising how close you can get. You know, like
yeah, about 100, 120 I think is
Yeah.
the closest. So if I turn this up, see it's gone red.
Yeah.
That's overexposed.
All right, so that's the exposure.
Yeah, so
like,
that's exposure. You can also do auto exposure. If you click auto exposure, there's a box. See the box? You can
yeah.
actually move the box. So if I move the box off there, it goes overexposed. If I move it back onto him, it sorts it back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I actually prefer it in manual mode. Because you've got more control. If you go further away,
Mhm.
you need more. See how it's gone dark?
Yeah.
You need more exposure.
All right.
But
Yeah.
you're cutting him off because of the depth. It'll only do about 300.
Aye, so I'm just literally too far away. Look, oh, look
Yeah.
at that! It's like a
Yeah, it's got a definite cut off.
yeah.
Yeah, both ends have a definite cut off.
Oh, that's interesting. It's got it's yeah. It's like an invisible wall.
Yeah, and what you can do is if you've got say there's something there that you don't really want, you can change the depth. So now I have to be.
So if you had a
closer.
background that you did not want to scan,
Yeah,
and he was within range, you can sort of remove the background out of the
there is also a flat. See the flat area there. It might not do it because it's a rough area, but you can. No, it's
base removal.
clipped out the base as well.
Right. So which one was the one for clicking out the background? That one.
That one.
Yeah, the scan and distance.
Yeah,
And then that's the base, which that's good as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you've got the colour. We're not in colour mode. So if we go to here, you can select the resolution. I generally keep it in high. Feature or tracking, marker tracking mode. General object or dark. If you've got something that's all dark,
Mm-hmm.
pick the dark mode because it gives you a little bit more adjustment on here.
Dark as in black.
Black, dark browns.
Right. Okay.
But say you've got something that's black and white,
Yeah.
don't pick dark mode
Right, because
because you won't be able to go far enough.
And what about lighting? Like,
We'll come to that in a second.
Okay.
Colour mode. Oops. Go on. There we go. So now it'll be in colour mode if you click OK. So you've got colour there now.
It's even picking up the pink on the
Yeah, the
from
pink
the light.
of the light. If we go onto that and turn that, oh, it is on. Yeah, just depends on the.
Yeah, it's picking it up differently in colour mode, isn't it? The base itself.
So you get quite a good representation of colour. It's quite good. Now, then you were saying about lighting. We click that. We've got lights on there.
All right.
So that kills your
kills the
thing.
pink.
But
The contrast is.
But you probably need to do that with it.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's a little bit better there. So that's in manual mode. I've clicked it off auto because auto was struggling with that.
So that's
'Cause it
basically
doesn't
the
really
light
need
box then. But
Yeah.
well, you said it was to do with colour mode as well. Has that only kind of activated once you put it into colour mode?
Yeah, this will only do it.
Like the light.
The light.
You don't.
There's also a white balance, but you need to be careful with white balance.
Right, so you can go into these menus here as well and alter that, right?
Alter brightness and that,
Yeah.
So.
And then if we go there,
that knocks it off, so you can see the model behind, because you can't see the 3D model with the colour on. It sort of fakes it almost.
Right, so like obviously that's now looking at it colour and not.
Yeah.
So is that colour mode off?
That's depth camera. No, it's still in colour.
Yeah, because you had to go into another menu there.
You go into this menu if you want it off.
Okay. Right, okay.
Yeah, so
that's just, that button's just when you're seeing it in colour or seeing or scanning in colour.
Press the little button on the end. That's it. It's just to make it so you can visualise it. I prefer it in that mode than colour mode for most of the time, because you can see the model better and how much of the model you've captured.
Yeah.
Whereas when you've got the colour on, sometimes it sort of hides how well you've captured the object, you know.
Just while you were on about scanning something dark.
Yeah, that's not actually dark enough to
look at that.
To care, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can see actually lines in it where the darker bits are because of the contrasts.
Yeah.
It's turned up. So if I turn that up now, you can't see them lines in the 3D.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about a little bit of red. If it was really red, you'd turn it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's not actually scanning there, it's just a preview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly lags, doesn't it, as you move, so you have
it to... It does. You've got to be fairly smooth, consistent with your movements. And if we go to colour, let's just see what it looks. Yeah, it's quite dark colour mode, so if we hit auto...
Does that put the lights on, or is it just adjusted things?
Well, that's just adjusted it with our lighting that we've got. That's with the actual... So that's better there, isn't it?
Yeah. Looks quite strange, like you can see like lines in it. So when you put it onto, if I knock that off now, right, so then if we go and switch that off.
Yeah, so it won't capture colour now.
No. I just want to see
what
what
you have to reset your contrast or exposure. Go
where do you want it? Where to?
Till there's maybe a tiny bit of red. That'll do.
Is that bearable red? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And the red comes in more when you get closer as well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, because obviously it's picking up.
Right, so now see on the screen, you won't be able to see it on this camera, but there's the lines.
Tell you what we should have done was put capture mode on. It'll capture what you're seeing on there.
Alright, okay.
So like put that on?
Yes, is that like a screen record?
Screen recording, yeah.
I'll swipe down.
Screen recording. So it's on now.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so you'll be able to refer to that.
And so that'll then obviously
it's
screen
just
record
like a video.
Yeah.
We've used it before when we were doing that.
Yeah. And does that record to like an SD card or?
It's internal memory.
So you plug it into the computer and
256 gig of memory in it, so it's
right,
reasonably large.
Okay.
So to capture, you can press the button.
Yeah.
Or you can press the button on the top.
Yeah.
Those
are the only two buttons on it, actually, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else is touchscreen.
Yeah.
Continuous mode is so you can go round it. Single shot allows you to do click images, which is sometimes better for detail because it's a more stable thing. You're not like physically moving around. You sort of click and then move a little bit, click, move a little bit, click, move a little bit. I generally use continuous, but
yeah, I've never seen you do individual
single shots. Handy for if you want to click capture more intricate detail.
So I'm just looking at the skull on the right hand on the grey screen, and then looking at the contrast, and that's better contrast. Yeah, like
you want a minimal amount of
it
red.
seems to the distance that I'm at here. That picture looks better at that distance. If I pull away, it starts to look grainy. See?
Yeah, it'll start to be a little bit more grainy because you contrast.
When it's like it's best in focus.
Yeah, you'll
like
see
that.
the thing on there as well. So I think I turned that down though. So no, it has come back. So yeah,
and it's saying that the distance is good there.
It's good there, yeah.
So that graininess on the right hand screen is okay. That's not.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about it too much because it's only really a preview. That.
Okay, that's all right. So you kind of keeping an eye on a couple of screens. You don't want too much contrast.
Generally watch that, but you set it for your thing first, you know. So you get your contrast right, and then you start your scan.
If you've watched this video so far, I'm going to take a wild guess that you're interested in 3D scanning and all the different possibilities that can create, from scanning full cars to scanning components. If you're interested in owning your own REVOPOINT, MIRACO or any of the other 3D scanners that REVOPOINT make, I've put a link in the description for you to get yours now.
How do we go to the screen record thing again?
So slide down.
Slide down.
Hit screen record.
Yeah. Let's just have a look at those. So it's screen recording now.
Yes.
So I'm going to slide down again and have a look at that.
So
you've got screenshot.
Yeah. Screen record.
Shut down timer.
That's like 10 minutes. It's set to at the minute. It's just so you can
screen rotation is that for when you flip it over?
Yeah, you can flip it there. So it flips it. And then where's it gone? There.
So yeah, it's upside down now. And then you've got a volume. What do you need volume for?
Volumes.
Not working.
No.
Oh, maybe you need to click.
Just click it.
Yeah, you click.
So I think it if you're doing screenshot, I think it makes a noise. Single shot mode. I think it makes a noise.
Right, like audible noises for you to hear. And then you've got the screen brightness there as well. Storage, we're at 8% at the minute, so you take it to your computer, download it. Software, do you need a particular software to get the stuff off this onto your computer?
There's built into the RevoScan 5, there is a thing for the MIRACO to take the files and upload them.
So you download that from the website?
Yeah.
I seen there was a QR code somewhere.
There is, yeah. It's on the back of there or something.
Yeah, it's just inside on the inside cover there.
Yeah,
so
or you can just go to the website and do it from the website. Also in that, if you just scroll it down again, you've got settings.
Oh yeah.
So in the settings,
that's where the software update is.
There's the software stuff there.
Yeah.
So that needs updated. Timer settings, wireless LAN, so you can change your LAN. Battery just gives you battery health. Just available. I thought it might have said charging then. Storage 256 on there. Brightness same as that other bit. IMU calibration. I'm surprised it didn't ask you to do that actually. That's for the gyro in the unit. So you go through a process
of moving it about and setting the gyro.
Shut down timer again.
And then restore, system restore.
Yeah, so that restores it back to like factory.
Yeah.
That's that quick start guide, so you can go back through that. The about gives you the version and stuff. Yeah. And then feedback will send a message to RevoPoint, I presume. So
cool. Right, what mode are we on?
So you're in near mode now.
Which isn't colour.
It's not colour, but if you click on there, you can take
That's the one that takes it to colour. Yeah.
Takes it to colour. Yeah.
So that button now, that's inactive.
Yeah.
Because it's
Okay. So you probably want to take your contrast up a little bit. Don't get too close. If you watch your
so that's it.
So excellent to good is where you want to be.
Yeah.
Contrast, maybe just take that up 1 click. So take that up to 2.
Yeah, a little bit of red.
A little bit there.
So now if I press so that button there will either start the scanning.
Yeah.
Or that button there.
It's just a momentary press. You don't have to hold it or anything.
Right, so that's now scanning.
So the green is what it's scanning now.
Yeah.
It goes blue where it's already captured.
All right. Okay. So the blue bits, it's seen already. So if I just stay here, eventually the whole thing will go blue.
Basically, yeah. The only reason to move it is because you're missing a bit of the top of the head.
And the eye socket and that, but I can let that do what it's doing now.
Yeah, so do 1 and then lift it up to get the head, the top of the head a bit.
Yeah. So that's the first time it's went. No, that's the second time it's went round the back.
Full rotation now.
Go up a bit.
About 360 frames ish is normally a full rotation.
All right, it's got 5 inch. It says on there 500 and.
Yeah. So you've got the top there.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing is to come down and get the eye socket. You don't want to over scan stuff either, if you can help it. So.
Yeah, like if you stayed here, we're at 700 and something frames now. So if I come right down there.
So you can pause and then wait for it to come around and go again. Yeah, you're getting the eye sockets there now.
Yeah, the underneath side.
Yeah. So if you hit pause there.
Yeah.
What we could do is maneuver that onto its side. As long as it will stay still. Wait for it to come round to the face. Because it'll recognise the face. Yeah.
That's mad that you can just like rotate it like that.
Click it now. There you go.
I'm too close, I'm far away.
Too close.
Yeah, too near, there we go.
Now you can probably stop that there, because you don't want to go around the top. And then click the little tick, that's for finishing.
Yeah.
So now you've got a full model, but it needs cleaned up and everything.
Yeah.
So click on the model bit at the bottom. It's just telling you what to do. Don't hit the one tap thing because it's not as good.
Right, let's go next.
Yeah. So this is a better way of doing it. Going
Tap to
into
process the model manually 2.2. So that's like fusion mode.
It's a better mode, yeah. It gives you control. The one
so you've got
tap,
fusion, mesh and texture and then an automatic.
Yeah, the automatic does all of it, but it doesn't give you many options of changing anything. It'll do what it thinks is optimal, but that's not necessarily what you want. So if you go to Fusion now, because that's just the raw point cloud.
Yeah.
So click Fusion, go to Advanced, and slide the bar right down to the bottom.
What?
This way. There you go, 0.1.
Alright. Was it not all the way down
No,
there?
it wasn't. It was on like 0.2 something.
Right.
Click on Apply there. It'll take it a few minutes to go through that, and what that's doing is bringing all your there's all your frames, and it sort of realigns them, optimizes them, and then it gets rid of some of the rubbish.
So there's 1100 frames.
Yeah, 1174.
And 74. Is that a lot?
It's more than I've done. How many frames did I do? I did 436, 436, sorry.
Right.
But I didn't actually do the bottom.
Right, yeah.
and then I've fused it. So
So you've
done
got
bottom,
a couple
so
of
you've
bits
got,
that are missed on that, haven't you?
Yeah.
So
you've got a bit more because you've done the bottom.
yeah.
It's disappeared.
And probably 2 rotations as well, I think I did.
Yeah, it's still disappeared my eye sockets for some reason, even though it looked like I'd got them. Probably because I just didn't get enough of them.
So it's, I mean, we've seen it on the videos as well, haven't we? It can be quite slow.
Yeah, it's a little bit slow. I guess the 32 gig one is a bit faster.
Is that RAM?
Yeah.
Right, so it's got a 256 gig memory for data,
Yeah.
but there's different RAM versions.
RAM versions, yeah. If you were going to be doing a lot of big scans, it would be better to get a 32 gig one. I should really have a 32 gig one.
So is yours the same? Yours is,
Yeah, mine's a 16, yeah. Just for processing speed, and if you're doing a lot of frames, obviously it'll be quicker. But you can also export to the PC and do all the processing in the PC, so you don't have to do any processing on here.
So you can export that file there straight to the PC and process on
do
that,
all the processing on the PC.
which would be a lot quicker.
Generally, if you've got a higher end PC, yeah. Obviously, if you've still only got a 16 gig PC, it's not going to be
It's not going to be any quicker, is it?
quicker, you know. But
Well, 16 gig's not bad really
no,
for
it's
RAM.
not. No.
You know, it's like quite a bit of RAM really.
I've done processing on an 8 gig computer, like big car scans and stuff like that, and it's done it alright. But it has got accelerated virtual RAM on it. But yeah, it takes a little bit of time for it to process. Generally, you want to do one full rotation, then move it and do a second full rotation, and then you should have pretty much everything by that point.
Yeah. It's mad that it can pick stuff up so quickly and know that it's looking at something else from a different angle.
Yeah, as long as it's got enough features to recognise, it'll very quickly find where it was, even though it has been rotated round. Most of the time it's quite good. Occasionally you'll get where it won't. It depends on the model. It won't recognise where it's looking for, and it won't realign, and you'll have to probably scan another angle separately and then merge them together in PC software, which is also quite good at lining things up generally. Again, it depends on the model. If you've got a weird shape with less features, it's harder than a shape with lots and lots and lots of features.
Yeah, because you can...
It works it out from the features.
Yeah.
And then there's marker mode, which again, if you've got a nice random set of markers, it'll find it really easy. If it finds somewhere that looks the same, it'll jump to that, which is kind of annoying sometimes.
So, the disc is...
Yeah, you've got a disc for the turntable.
Yeah, it's quite a lot bigger, isn't it? So
they used to have a thing that clipped together, but on the Pop 2, they had a one that clipped together, which was quite handy.
it's maybe just that it's for a bigger turntable, really, but like because they do bigger turntables. Don't
They have got bigger ones, yeah. There is one that is pretty much exactly that size, but on these they've well, quite a few of them. They've got this smaller turntable because it's more handy for moving around, I guess. Right, so we need to go into clean all this stuff and Fusion. So we'll go into Fusion. Sorry, we are fused, but we'll go into isolation.
Yeah, so just to recap, we pressed that fuse button and that
so we've
took
fused
quite a while to fuse. I suppose there was a lot of frames.
Yeah, so we go into isolation. We'll leave it on the default 15, but you can
15 what?
%. So 15 is the default. If you press that little button there, it goes back. So we'll detect. If it takes too much away, say it takes something that you want, you can reduce it. So there is some on the model itself, but hopefully that isn't taking away stuff we need. Looks fine.
So maybe took the deep depth bits.
Yeah, well, if we go back, I don't think it's taken much.
No.
No, I think that'll be fine. The eye sockets look good. There's no major holes in it.
So what's these darker brown bits then? Is it brown?
That is holes. So what we can do is when we mesh it, we can fill holes.
Right.
So,
and if you scanned it closer, is it because I wasn't close enough for them, or
just getting the angle right to get in?
Yeah,
deep
and
enough.
Could you mess on and get those, or
you could take the jaw off to get it, and then attach it. But it depends how far into it you want to go. So we'll do overlap detection.
So we've done fusion, then we've done isolation at 15%.
Which is floating things around about.
Yeah.
Overlap.
So, sort of like things that it thinks that it's seen that it hasn't.
It's just noise and it's picked up bits of this. You know, it's some reflections sometimes cause it.
So
this is overlapping layers. So because you've done different.
Oh right, okay. So it's now working out.
There's not much because it's already in the advanced setting. It sort of cleans that up a bit anyway.
So there's little tiny red dots. That's just getting rid of those, and those are slight misalignments from the different frames.
Yeah.
That it's stuck
so that
together.
Cleans them up. You can do that again if you want, and you can move it as well. But it's pretty clean, so it'll probably come up with nothing the next time you do it. So there's nothing really obvious there. Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you go to mesh. So it's not on the highest there. You could go higher, but you might get more noise. So we'll just do the default that it's suggesting.
Yeah.
Which that little bit there can go back to. We'll fill holes because we know there's some small holes that it's an advantage to fill. If you didn't want a solid thing and you weren't bothered about the holes, or you needed the holes for some reason, say you needed them for measuring, then you can
not fill the holes.
Not fill more.
But if you were say 3D printing it, you would just fill the holes.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah, if you're just making it like a kind of
if
basic
you wanted
skull.
to make that skull bigger or smaller or whatever, then you could just fill the holes and print it. And you can change the percentage as well. So if there's really small holes that you want to fill, but you don't want to fill like the bottom of it, say, you can pick a lower percentage and it'll find the smaller holes, but it won't fill the bigger holes. So that was at 15, I think, as well. So it won't fill massive holes, but it should fill all them.
So how long will this processing take then? Is this
This is normally reasonably quick.
Yeah. Right, so what did we do there?
That was meshing it, so it's meshed with the hole fill on.
Oh yeah, so all them
all the holes are now the brown bits. The browns are basically the inside of the mesh. You can see it on mine.
That's got absolutely every bit of it now then. So the holes weren't...
They weren't very big.
Yeah,
mine's got a few more holes than yours had, I think, because I just quickly did the bottom.
Yeah.
But basically the brown you see there is the back side of the mesh or point cloud. Because I didn't select fill holes on purpose just to show the difference.
And then we can zoom in on this as well. Wow, look at that. That's wild.
Yeah, you can smooth it as well. So if you think it's a bit rougher than the actual model, like the teeth are a little bit rough.
Yeah.
So you can go in and you can smooth it, and it'll look a bit better.
I like how it.
A little bit of noise around the teeth as well.
I like how it's got an active highlight as well. See, like as you move it, the highlight changes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because it's got like almost a light source pointing from.
Yeah, that's it.
Direction.
There's a light source definitely coming from somewhere. That's brilliant. Right, so from here, obviously you want to get it onto the computer.
Yeah.
And from here, how do we go to 3D print? Would that be the next stage, or do we need to do something else to it?
That would be 3D printable.
As it is.
Maybe a little bit of smoothing. If you go into the mesh.
Well, there's a texture one here as well.
Ah, that's for the colour. You didn't.
Ah, right.
Did you do colour on this?
No.
No, that's why it's sort of greyed out. So the simplify, if I can say that, that basically takes extra mesh data and smooths it, keeps the detail but reduces the size of the file basically. So there'll be less of the vortices and polygons if you simplified it. Smoothing just smooths the surface. So you've got 30% 3 times, which is what it's defaulted to. You can change it. So we'll apply smoothing just to show you the difference. You can undo as well down here. If you don't like it, you can undo.
So see them bits around the teeth and that, just as an example. Is there a way that you can go in, like,
you can use
and
like software?
Like a sculpting sort of thing, just to adjust that.
That is smoother.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And you can do that as many times as you like to get it, but it hasn't got rid of the details as such. You know, you can still see the pits and the.
Yeah, because it had a slight. Oh, it's like slightly smoother, shinier now as well.
There's a number or something in the eye socket. Look.
Yeah.
There's like a number.
What? It looks like a number.
It looks like a number. Yeah. 031. It looks like. It might not be, but it might look like.
It can't be. It's hand carved by a man in Indonesia. Surely not.
Don't know.
He probably lied to us, and it's actually like flipping mass manufactured by a machine.
I don't know what this hole is. Oops. No. Go away. Yeah, so all the details of like the
cracks in it and everything are still there.
It
just sort of took away the orange peely effect on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Why does it get that then?
It depends how high you mesh onto to a degree.
Right.
So if I go on to meshing, that's all the way up at 7, and it's 0.05 millimeters grid spacing. So if you've got noise or imperfections, it'll pick them up. Whereas if you go down to 5, say, you're 0.2 mil grid spacing.
Right.
So you'll get a much smoother.
Yeah, because the bits in between the dots are sort of leveled out. Averaged out a
little bit. You'll maybe lose some of the details.
And then taking it further down, you'd actually start to
to have a lump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never actually tried going that far.
It would take away all the detail.
But that's its minimum grid sizing, I think, anyway, is the 0.05. So that's as good as you're going to get. But that's 50 microns.
Right.
So it's quite small.
Yeah.
You know. Mine looks slightly different to yours.
Yeah, like
Mine-
this one looks shinier because
Yeah.
you can see the texture on yours definitely.
Yeah, mine's updated though, so once you update yours, you might find that you get better results.
Well, I don't think this is a bad result. Do you think that that's captured more
Like a
detail?
number, that. It looks like a 9, 09.
Where there?
There.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying now, eh? Let's have a look on this one. It's just a fluke though.
Might be, but it doesn't have to look like a 09. Doesn't it?
More so on yours than on that one.
Yeah, I've smoothed it on yours.
It's just a pure fluke though. He hasn't engraved a number on there, I'm sure.
I'll have to ask him. Yeah, I mean, it's even got into the nostrils and stuff pretty well.
So, from here then, what do we do next?
So, if you wanted to send it to your thing, you haven't got it on your software yet, but you can go to
You can
there.
actually send that to a PC wireless.
So, if your PC is on the same Wi-Fi network as this, you can put the code in on the software into here, and it'll send it.
Right.
Yeah. Or you can plug the cable in, and it tells you how to. On mine, it actually tells you. Tells you how to do it.
Right, so yours again is
Mine's
updated software. So
Yeah. Just because that's new out of the box, we haven't done it yet.
okay. But
so-
that's a printable file that we've got there essentially.
Yeah, you could print that, definitely.
How cool is that?
If you did it in resin, it would be really quite good.
Like on a resin printer.
Resin printer. FDM, it would still do it, and it would look quite good, but it wouldn't be quite as fine a detail. But surprised how good FDM is now.
I'm impressed at how easy that was, though. I mean, like it wasn't hard to achieve a scan.
No, it's quite easy to use.
Yeah. Obviously, you need to know what buttons to press in what order and stuff
easier
like
when
that.
you
And
know,
I'm bloody glad that I've got this recorded because,
Yeah.
you know.
You can look back
But
on
again, you know, that's the point of these videos as well to actually like record down
So-
what we're doing.
The other thing as well, obviously we've got that and it's all saved. You can go to the models, and it's a list of models.
Yeah. So
That's an obvious project example.
yeah.
So you can click on it. You
Yeah.
can't do much with it because it hasn't got the. So maybe it has got the raw data. Yes, it has got the raw data. So you could mess about with it and change it, and then it's got the fused,
And
which almost looks like it's already meshed, but it's not because you can see through it.
yeah.
If you zoom in,
Oh right,
you can
yeah.
see it's a point.
That's quite a cool like
yeah, it's like
effect, isn't it?
yeah. So that's the points in the what they call
Wow.
a point cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it uses as your reference.
That's
And then-
before it's meshed.
And then when you mesh it, it takes all them points and then joins them together,
Fills the gaps.
fills the gaps and smooths it. And,
Yeah.
And then you get the point clouds, the mesh one.
So where did we go to get those then? Because that's where.
So if I go back and go back again, so we went to here.
It's like your
Models.
model, so that's like your photo library,
And
as it
then
were.
You get your projects
Yeah.
there. If you want to continue with this one, you would click back on that, go to new, scan. If you want to edit, you can obviously.
So let's
edit.
just say that had a skeleton with it. We scanned the head first,
Yeah.
and then we stuck the head back onto the skeleton. Then we can start the project again.
Yeah, you can open this project.
Open that project, it'll pick up the face because it knows what the skull looks like.
Yeah.
And then you can just continue on scanning.
Continue on, yeah.
Right, okay.
You would probably scan the skeleton separate and then use the pair to bring them together. So if you want to make a new project that you don't want to go into either of these two, click on there, and then it takes you back to the scanning window.
Or if you were already on the scanning window and pressed the go button,
it would be in whatever last project you had open.
So if you, or would it, right?
Yeah,
okay,
so
so like you need to make sure that you do that then.
Yeah.
Like, so if you weren't in a project, if you just switched it on,
it'll be in the last one.
It'll be in the last one. So if you press
the last
continue,
one you opened as well, not necessarily the last one you scanned, because you might have opened one to have a look at something, and it'll put it in that folder. So if you go into, what you should really always try and make a habit of doing is opening it up. It'll start in this window, but go back to the model window.
Just to make sure that you're in there.
Either start a new project or go to the project that you want.
When you do that, can you like name them as well?
You can name them afterwards, I think.
Aye.
What it should do is start in that model window and let you do that instead of starting straight into the scan, I think, anyway. They might change it to do that later, I don't know.
It kind of makes sense because you wouldn't want to... When would you realise that you're in the wrong...
Probably after you've done a few scans and then you go to open this and then go,
and then you're like, oh shit, it's in the wrong thing. And would it mess up your old one?
Well, what happens is when you want to transfer it to the computer, it'll also transfer the ones that you've already transferred before.
Right.
Which might not be a good thing because you might have already edited them.
Yeah.
So it's better to start a new project each time or open the one that you want before you start scanning again.
Yeah.
I think they'll change that eventually because a few people have mentioned it. And it wouldn't take them much to start it up in there instead of here, you know.
One thing that I've noticed with REVOPOINT, they're really good at working with the customers.
Oh, they are, yeah. With people like me and other people on the forums.
Yeah, they do take the feedback off the people who are actively working with them
as well. They're not just like, oh, people have given us feedback. They actually ask for feedback.
Yeah.
You know, and positive feedback as well as negative feedback.
Yeah.
And they do try and sort things out. You know.
Cool. Right. Well, you can see on the clock here. It's nearly 11 o'clock at night, so I think we'll wrap this up. But I'm super impressed, and you know we've done a scan there wasn't any problems at all.
No, that's an A mode. Obviously, that's quite simple.
Yeah.
When you get into the far mode and bigger scans, it's a little bit more challenging sometimes. Marker mode helps. But it's surprising how, you know, you've seen me scan big stuff with it, and it's surprising what you can do and how quickly you can do it, you know. For example, if I go...
Actually, I want to have you've got a scan on your computer I want to have a look at.
Yeah. So if we go into the models on here, I've actually put that in the wrong place, look, because it's in with your other stuff.
So I've now got a skull in me.
In your thing. So this was just to get this back section.
Yeah.
If we click along.
Did you put something on there to get a feature?
Yeah, I put
a cloth.
A cloth on so that when I was scanning it, it didn't lose it on that middle section.
On that flat bit.
Yeah. So that's the back corner and top corner of the right hand side, because I need a cut line down here and on there.
So these are the scans of the back of my car.
This is quite a handy little feature. You can just click along to the next scan in the folder.
Alright, so you can make a folder and have multiple.
Yeah, so there's 5 things in that folder.
Folder being a project.
Yeah.
A model. Yeah. A model.
Model project. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the top of that one. So they were the main bits I needed for that. I've only fused. No, I haven't even fused them there. Look, so it's got raw data.
Yeah.
So they're actually all just raw data. No editing, nothing. I've sent them to the computer.
Yeah.
Which I've got down here.
Here's the computer he prepared earlier.
Yeah. So that's it after it's fused and meshed.
Oh, we've got a big light in the background. I'll have to...
And just tip that around.
Yeah, it's alright. Yeah, it's alright. It's like right in the thing. I'll maybe switch the damn thing off.
Where's my mouse gone? Wait a minute. No. Cancel. So yeah, so that's the...
Now this is...
That's fused and meshed there.
And this is in the REVOScan software?
Yeah. So that's that. That is that.
Yeah.
So I've just pressed the send button, put the code in, and sent it to the PC.
Cool.
And then there's one more to that one there. You were on about the rag. That's the rag.
Yeah.
There. So it's just so that when I came across here, because I was only really interested in this section, where the split lines are going to be here.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure it didn't change the dimension between, because I need this profile along the back as well. So I just put a cloth on there, and that helps with features. If it had a window in, you could put the cloth on the window, and then use that to track across, and then you could just delete it dead easy. You can still get rid of that. I could highlight it and get rid of it, but for what I'm doing,
yeah, you don't need it. You just want those points at those points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the PC software, you can do the fusion and everything as well. So I'll take that down a tiny bit. I'll apply that. It'll take a few minutes or whatever. Potentially it's faster with the PC than the MIRACO, but there's not a lot in it. If you've got a really high-end PC, obviously it'll be super quick. So
now that's another thing with these, like especially this is what I like about the MIRACO. Like the other ones are all plugged into some sort of computer.
Got to plug them in. You can actually plug the MIRACO in and use
scan it straight to the computer and use the computers.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I can show you that if you want.
I think that's enough for now, to be honest with you, because it's not something that I'll be doing straight away. I'll just be using it as it is and finding all sorts of things to scan, including like my decks.
Yeah,
like
black and shiny bits are quite tricky.
So would that not scan very well?
It might not.
Because it's got a lot of features in it. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Like it's got a lot of
repeating patterns as well, though, which they don't necessarily like.
Right. Okay. But technically, it should be able to scan it.
Yeah. If it's dusty, it'll probably scan.
Right.
Yeah.
That's probably how the slider ended up getting knackered. Full of dust.
Full of dust and biscuit crumbs.
Aye. I'll pause it while that's doing that.
Yeah, it won't take much longer.
What's it doing there? It's meshing, fusing.
Fusing, yeah. So it's sorting out the.
So it was all them separate data points. If you zoomed in, it'll have been transparent.
So
and
we've got 381 frames, and it doesn't actually say how many points there are there. It will do when it's finished doing that. But it's still a point cloud, but it's a rough. Basically like a preview of the point cloud as it is in the raw, and then once you've fused it, it's then.
So if that one you zoom in, because that's not,
yeah,
you'll see it like on that one. Yeah.
It's all dots.
That looks cool like that though.
Yeah. So it's quite. It looks like it's very little detail there, but that's because it's just the preview. It's not the real thing, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
So there you can see it's a lot smoother now.
Yeah, that rag looks a lot more.
It looks like a rag.
Yeah, instead of a sort of lump.
Yeah. So you've got a lot of detail on the rag.
Yeah.
It does look like a rag. So then we've got isolation and everything. I'll lower that down because I don't want to get rid of anything. 1% is probably low enough. So see these floaty bits here?
Yeah.
It'll get rid of them. You get all sorts of little reflections and stuff.
Right, so it's picked them up as
picked
red.
all them up, highlighted them,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can apply that and it gets rid of them. So see how much cleaner it looks, once you've done that. You might lose a couple of little bits that you didn't really want to lose, but if you want to keep them, you just don't do that until you've meshed it, and then you can clean up.
Is there a thing where you can select them separately as well? I'm sure I've seen you do that.
Not on that. You can when you go into cleaning, because you can, see that bit there, it's separate.
Yeah.
So if I didn't want it, I could click on
a lasso tool sort of thing.
And do that.
Yeah.
And then you just hit the delete key and away it goes.
Yeah.
So you can clean them up manually. There's a couple of different tools: box select, polygon, lasso, and there's a paintbrush one, which it's a bit weird. But what you can do is you can select the main object that you want. Give it a second to decide it's doing it. A few moments there. And then you can invert that selection. So it's red now.
Yeah.
Invert the selection, and that's red, and any other bits that are floating around are red.
Yeah.
And then you can delete, so it deletes multiple things but doesn't delete the main object.
Right, okay, yeah. Right, yeah.
That way.
Yeah.
And then you can clean up scruffy areas like that. That's just right on the fringe of what it
Yeah,
can
where
see.
you scanned.
Yeah, so it's a little bit rough, but I didn't need that area, Just escape out there. But that main central area is nice and crisp and clean, and I've got all the data I need for what we're doing.
Yeah, it's just for a specific measurement, isn't it?
Yeah. And then we can go to mesh that now. Again, it's on full quality there, which is 0.65, is it? That's it.
Yeah.
Because that's in far mode, it's a lot less resolution than near mode. But that would take ages to scan that in near mode, and you'd need loads of marker dots.
Yeah. So what's the distance? Near mode's really quite close. You're talking
near mode's 120 to 300.
And
then far mode is 300 to I think 1,000 at the moment. I want them to extend it.
Yeah.
I want 1,200, 1,400, something like that, because it can do it, and it helps with tracking when you're going around bigger objects if it's on 1,200.
Is it because it's not focused that the?
What I think they've done is they've reduced it so people get clean scans that don't necessarily know what they're doing exactly. But it's kind of handy when you're scanning something big to have that vision ahead of where you're going. So if you've got 1,200 distance, if you cover that and take the whole image properly, you get the whole image properly. If you don't, you get that kind of effect where it's fuzzy.
Right.
You know, if you don't actually cover it properly.
On the edges.
But if you couldn't see that as you're going across, you'll lose, or you could potentially lose tracking as you go around the corner. So it's kind of handy having that little bit extra range sometimes for bigger objects. And I could have probably done that section there without having that in the middle.
Yeah, because you're further away and you can pick both of them up at the same.
Pick both of them up and then keep going.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they did on the original prototype one, they did have it at 1400.
Yeah.
Which is how I could do that metro.
Right, and now you can't do the metro.
I could probably still do it, but it'd be trickier.
Yeah.
Right, so that's the REVOPOINT MIRACO. First impressions and first play with. I don't think I could have got through that without Jonathan being sat here. I wouldn't have, you know, it would have took a bit of getting the scan and working that out, I think, you know, like, but, you know, is there any tutorials online? Obviously
there's loads,
yeah. So I'm sure you can battle your way through it, but it's a lot easier having someone sat with you who knows what they're doing with it. It's certainly got me off to a better start anyway. I'm still wanting to peel this thing off. But yeah, it's good. Time's knocking on. We've had a little bit of a evening shift on this one, so we'll wrap it up. It's been quite a long video anyway, but hope you found it interesting and useful. I'm certainly really looking forward to finding things to scan with this, and from an art point of view as well as an engineering point of view. So thanks to MIRACO, REVOPOINT, for sending us it. Like I say, it is sort of as payment for something that I've already done, so they haven't said, oh, can you make videos about it or anything. They've not asked for any of that, but I'm going to make videos about it anyway, just so we can go through my learning to scan experience. And obviously you're going to see these popping up in videos anyway, so we'll go a little bit more in depth into it and learning the different features and that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, pressing the buttons, all that good stuff. And we'll be back at the garage tomorrow, actually, won't we? Yeah, we're at the garage tomorrow. So, cheers, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Say bye, Jonathan.
Bye.